Hello everyone, welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. This is your transfer news special and your topics are on your screen. Marcus Rashford to Bayern Munich, how realistic are those links? John Duran rejected by Manchester United on loan, a heavy salary fee included with him. Diego Leon's, a couple of quotes coming out from him as he flies into Manchester. Very, very confident kid. I like the quotes already. And also we'll speak about Sekou Kone going out on loan potentially to Ineos club. Lausanne? Is it Lausanne, Sam? Is that how we say it?
Is it Lausanne? I'll have to look it up.
That club, anyway. You all know what we're going on about. But let's kick it off with Marcus Rashford to Bayern Munich. Another one on the transfer merry-go-round. So, Bayern Munich are genuinely interested in Marcus Rashford. Bayern are yet to open talks with United or Rashford over a potential transfer, with a 27-year-old not currently at the top of their list of targets. Although United want to sell Marcus Rashford, he's also open to leaving on loan or as a part of a swap deal if suitable opportunities arise. This is from David Ornstein, separate. Rashford currently favours a switch overseas, and ideally one that would enable him to compete for titles. So Bayern, as far as I'm aware, Sam, I had a little look into it before. They were linked with Nico Williams. They was pushing him for a lot, but Nico Williams has decided to go Barcelona. They're also linked with Diaz and Gakpo, I think it is. I was reading before. So,
yeah,
due to company's tactics, the way he plays, it's so possession-based, heavy possession-based, they force opponents back quite a bit. So they play the most, I think, in the German league in the opposition's half, which makes teams near the bottom frequently create that low block. So they need wingers who are capable 1v1 of unlocking low blocks. With that in mind, is Marcus Rashford the right one? Because we watched him for years against low blocks running into Aldis and stuff.
Yeah. I suppose it depends on the players they have around him, isn't it? Like if you've got likes of Musiala, if you've got the likes of who's the other sort of young kid that they've got coming through? I forget his name now. It'll come back to me. But he's played with Harry Kane before, so they know how to play together. So there's a familiarity there. They've lost Leroy Sané, haven't they? Leroy Sané's gone to, is it Galatasaray?
Yeah. Galatasaray, I want to say. I think it is.
Yeah. So he's gone. So they do have that spot open, I suppose, that winger spot. So there is a sort of opening there. I saw the report from Bild saying they were impressed with what they saw at Aston Villa. I don't know what they were watching at Aston Villa because I thought he looked all right. I didn't think he looked amazing.
Better than he was at United, I think.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, anything where he actually looks like he's trying to play football, he's better than United, the way he played for us. So, yeah, it seems like it makes sense. It just depends. Like, are they going to pay? I know they pay a lot of wages to Harry Kane. And I know Musiala's just got to bump a new deal. Are they going to pay that sort of wage that he's on? Do you think? Do you think they'll be willing to pay that? It's like that seems like the stumbling block for me.
Well, it gets to a point where they just got rid of Sané, hadn't they? And he was on quite a lot of wages. I think he was on around 270k. So whether that then becomes an availability to put on the wage bill or they want to lower it. I mean, a lot of their players are on quite high wages. I think they've got one of the highest wage bills in Europe, from what I remember reading. Yep. So Rashford would definitely fit that category with the current wages that he's on. I just think it might get to a point where the targets that they were looking at, Nico Williams is going to Barca. I don't see Liverpool selling Diaz. I remember when Diaz was linked with another team and they was kind of like, nah, I'm not going to do it.
Unless it's a lot, unless it's like a big fee.
Yeah. I just don't see him doing it because I think now with Florian Wirtz coming in, I think Wirtz will start playing more as a false nine, Diaz switching out wide or vice versa. Like, I think there's a lot of fluidity there, and I think Diaz is actually a decent player. So I don't know, maybe it might get to a point where they get down to the kind of C targets or D targets, similar to like what we're doing with the strikers at the minute, and they might take a punt. But he clearly, from what he's pushing out there, I mean, David Ornstein reporting that he wants big clubs who are going to win titles. That then your pool gets smaller, doesn't it, in terms of clubs you're going to attract? And if Bayern see you as more of a D option and Barcelona have signed Nico Williams, are they still going to get Rashford?
It doesn't seem likely to me, unless they get him on a loan and we're paying all his wages, which United are not going to accept. Like, we're not going to be like, oh yeah, take our player and we'll pay all his wages. Like, it's not happening. Whereas Bayern are like, if he's available for 40 million, which is a decent price, the wages, like you said, they pay high wages, but maybe they can negotiate down a little bit from what he's on. It ticks all Rashford's boxes. They compete for titles. They're in the Champions League. They're a top team in Europe. He's going to play with people he knows, like Harry Kane and top players like Musiala. So it seems like it ticks all the boxes. I just think the wage is going to be an issue because I know, like you said, they pay big wages, but is he going to be? Are they going to be in the heads going? Is he worth 325,000 a week? And can we get him back to any sort of form? Like that's going to be the biggest thing, I think.
I don't see him being a fit for him at all, in my opinion. I just don't see it working, and that's why I don't think he's a really serious target. When you look at the comparison with Nico Williams and Rashford, Nico Williams, I mean, Rashford's good 1v1. I remember Kyle Walker talking about him in training. He's a fucking nightmare to deal with, and he is. But at the minute, the way he's been playing, even in Unai Emery's system, more transitional based. You've got more space to run into. A lot of the teams against Bayern Munich sitting very, very deep, and you're giving it him. He's got 2-3 players in front of him, and he's got to navigate. And his dribble success rate, I don't know off the top of my head, but I'd imagine it's not as good as the likes of Nico Williams or Diaz and players like that. So, yeah.
He can beat a man on occasion. However, his best sort of trait is balling behind, running onto the end of it, and he'll beat the defender with pace because he's quicker than him every single time. That's what his bread and butter is. And it's just like, yeah, how many balls like that is he going to get? And then how long before the fans at Munich are going to be like, well, he can't do anything except that. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it's a weird one. It's definitely a weird one.
If you are just joining us, let us know your thoughts on the situation. It seems like there's a lot of frustration with Rashford at the moment, trying to get well, not him, but obviously there's other players included, just trying to move him on or get any kind of bidding opportunities. Nothing so far yet. Nothing on the table for him, and we are in July right now. So you would hope that the process speeds up a little bit in terms of outgoings. James McGoggin said, would he have a little bit more time on the ball in Germany, though, potentially? He might have more time on the ball, but it'd be against a lower block. Do you know what I'm saying? So he would have...
He needs less time on the ball, if anything, doesn't he?
More speed,
like when he's got time to think. When he's got time to think, he makes the wrong decisions. He runs into players and stuff. He needs less time on the ball, if anything, I would say. Sorry to interrupt.
No. Alex saying, they like English forwards, it seems. Yeah, Harry Kane, someone just mentioned, I know he's not a forward, but Eric Dyer as well, they went for. I think what teams around Europe like doing, because the Premier League is such an elite competition, and it's the best league in the world, there's less doubt, I think, casted over players, bringing them in, because the intensity and the level is so high in the Prem that when they do make a move, maybe the transition fits a little bit better. Maybe that's a little bit different with like the Spanish league and stuff, because that's more very technical and possession based. But with the German league, where I do feel it is quite physical, there's a lot more transitions. Maybe that's why they suit it. I don't know, just a theory. He's more suited to Italy for me. I don't know. Where do you think he ends up? If you was, I know you're not a betting man, but if you was, where do you think he goes?
I think he stays.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah,
I just don't see what. Like he had his heart set on Barca, and that looks like it's never going to happen. Like because they've got financial issues as it is, so I don't see them paying his wages. And like you said, they're going after Nico Williams. Well done to Athletic Club for going, no, we want the money up front, because you know what Barcelona are like paying people. I think they still owe Messi 46 million. I think they owe De Jong 17 million. So yeah, this is a club that doesn't pay their bills. So yeah, unless Barcelona last minute comes in with something, I don't see where he goes. Like Madrid are not coming in for him. Bayern maybe coming. I don't know. And then you're looking at Juve, looking at Sancho. Do they possibly take a look at Rashford?
Yeah, no chance.
Napoli, they seem set with their forwards and stuff, and if he did, it'd probably be Garnacho. Inter, they're set with their forwards and stuff. AC have fallen off, and they're in financial straits, so they're not going to come in for him. So it's like, where'd you go? Like, where does he go?
No. And do you know what? The reoccurring theme of this window at the minute seems to be wages. Any move, whether it's in or out with United, it seems to just kind of revolve around the wages. And actually, we had a funny story coming out from Fabrizio Romano earlier on this morning, that United were offered the chance to sign John Duran on loan from I can't remember what club it was in Saudi. It was Al Hilal. He was at Saudi or
Is it Al Nassr?
Al
Is it
Nassr?
not Al
Yeah,
Nassr?
I think it was Al Nassr.
Yeah.
On loan, but they declined the option, which I thought was interesting. Now, I was thinking if his wage demands were reasonable, if he wanted 100,000, 150k max, let's just say, I would actually take that in a heartbeat because watching him for Aston Villa, I thought he looked really, really good, and I think he's a top striker. But the fact that I don't think he's going to move so dramatically from what he was on in Saudi, which, take a guess, he's probably on 300,000, 400,000 to 100, 150k. He's not going to do that, is he? So, yet again, Sam, there's another player there who could be an option, but wages kill us.
Well, there's another one as well, Victor Osimhen. He is the perfect player for this system. We need a striker. He needs a move because he's fallen out with Napoli. Everything lines up, and then these wage demands are insane, so we can't get him. So that kills that deal as well.
Do you rate him as a player, though? Do you like Duran whenever you've watched him for Villa?
Yeah, it's exciting. Really enjoy. Great finisher. Like, some of the finishes he pulled off at Villa were
especially
phenomenal.
In Champions League.
Unbelievable. His attitude is an issue. We know we've heard stuff about his attitude and his stuff like that, which would be a concern for me because I think United need to move away from these dickheads that we've got in the team at the minute and move to a no dickhead policy because it just seems like it ends up costing us. Garnacho's falling out with him, Rashford's falling out with him. Like, it just seems like an issue all the time. And I just think we need to move away from that sort of attitude. But if it was a loan, then it's no risk in it. It's like, come in, score a shit ton of goals. If his attitude's a problem, you don't sign him and you move on. But yeah, if he's on, I think he's on 17 million a year. So I don't know what that is a week, but yeah, that's too much. Far too much.
I'm pretty sure I read on the series on 350, 330-ish. And obviously there's no tax in Saudi, is there, as well? So
no.
Usually when you say someone's taking a wage cut, like Sancho at United, let's say he's on 350, same as Duran, he won't be receiving 350 because of the tax. So it's even more of a big drop off in it if you move into a Premier League club when they're offering you a certain wage. So it seems like, again, clubs in Turkey, I think he's going to Fenerbahce with Jose. I think there's going to be a link up there.
Yes.
So where they get their money from, I actually don't know. Have you ever read into it?
I was reading an article today, and apparently Turkey, the way it works is there's a lot of wealth behind the scenes in the clubs, but what they don't do is pay big transfer fees. So they'll get people on loan or they'll get free transfers, but they'll offer him a massive wage to come to Turkey. So similar thing happened with Wilfried Zaha. He ran out of contract with Palace and then they offered a massive wage and he went. Victor Osimhen managed to get him for Napoli on loan because he offered him a massive wage. Mario Icardi from PSG, I think similar story. So that's how they operate, basically. They take these free agents on loans because they're willing to pay the massive wage, so players will go. But they won't pay massive transfer fees, which is probably what is going to stop any interest in Sancho because we're going to want a transfer fee. So they're not going to do, but we're not going to pay a massive fee and then pay massive wages. So that'll stop Sancho going to Turkey, it seems like.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. So they're able to pay higher wages due to a combination of factors, increased sponsorship deals, strong fan support. Even though some clubs face significant debt, while broadcast revenue has been declining, clubs have been able to attract significant investments through other avenues, including sponsors and attracting high-profile players. Turkish clubs are known for attracting players with higher transfer fees and subsequently paying them big wages. Galatasaray's wage bill for the 24-25 season is estimated to be over 50 million euros. That is madness, isn't it? Like, Turkey just, chucking the dough out there. Which is crazy when you think about, because they're not considered in the top 5 leagues, right? They're not an established kind of league. And you look at what's going on in the French league at the minute, everything like Lyon being relegated and their sponsorship things they've got ongoing and having to sell players.
TV. They've got no TV rights either. Like, so far, like the season starts in like a matter of weeks, and they've got no TV for it. So that'd be a massive for them as well.
It's sad that with Lyon, isn't it? I don't know if you've read into it, but the situation that's going on there with John Textor, I think it is, who owns both Palace.
Yeah, he seems like a typical dodgy American billionaire, doesn't he? The typical sort of wheeling and dealing. We've got a couple at ours. We've had the English version with Mike Ashley at Newcastle as well. They're always a bit dodgy. There's a bit of sort of like underhandedness and sort of don't worry
False
about it, we'll
promises.
sort it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that, and he seems to be very, very hated by Lyon fans, understandably so, and he seems to be hated by Palace fans, which is not a good sign either. So, but I think his other club, Botafogo, is doing really well.
Yeah.
They went quite far in the
Club
Club
World
World Cup, and they won the Brazilian league, so they seem to be doing well. So, yeah, seems a bit weird, but yeah, I the idea of like a rich American owning your club fills me with dread because look what's happened to us for the last however many years. So yeah, I'm not a fan.
So I don't necessarily like the comparison. Like I've had a lot of issues with some of the stuff that Ineos have been doing, but when they make the comparison to people like Mike Ashley at Newcastle, it's kind of like I don't see it in the same kind of light, and that's me speaking. Like I know they've made some decisions that are really unfavourable with fans, and trust me, as match-going fans who are paying above 66 quid for a ticket to play Burnley, it's fucking frustrating, and everyone knows that. But what they're doing, I do think there is an genuine interest there for the future of the club, and that starts with some of the players that they're bringing in. So Diego Leon was kind of the next person that we talk about, but signings like that. Signings like Aiden Heaven and Chido, and like there is genuine investment and intelligence and thought process going into it to be moving on. So when you get to a spot in 5-6 years' time, you're not at a point where we would have been under Woodward or where we would have been under Richard Arnold and Murta, because we would have found ourselves, wouldn't we, with, again, shitloads of players that we can't move on, that are on giant wages. And sometimes, I know we make a lot of money, but look, it's very easy. Lyon are getting relegated. Lyon were winning championships from 2000 2010, like multiple league titles. Like they're a rich club in history, and they've been relegated. So it goes to show it can change very quick, can't it?
Yeah, like I think I listened to the same podcast as you on The Athletic, and they were saying that PSG were paid the fee for what was it called, Barcola in full, which just to try and help them to stay in the league, which is unusual for teams. Like normally teams like, no, fuck them, like let them get relegated, but because they know they're stronger in Liga with them in it, like they tried to help them out. So I know they've got an appeal process, so it might not be complete like relegation yet, but at the minute, it's not looking good for them. And they pushed us as well in the Europa League. Like they looked the better team for a long time against us in Europa League. So they were good. They were a good team at the time. But now Fofana's gone, might be going to Forest. Obviously, Shaqiri's gone. So yeah, all the best players are definitely jumping ship.
Speaking about recruitment and younger players, so Diego Leon, who touched on before, on signing for Manchester United, I think is he? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is he travelling to Manchester now?
Yeah, he's travelling, either flying today or he's flying in today. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah.
So on signing for Manchester United, and I think these quotes are very interesting, actually. He said, the feelings are indescribable. You feel so many things. Honestly, I'm very happy, really happy today. I think every player dreams of this, and today I have the opportunity. Everyone thinks I'll go out on loan, but I don't have that mentality. I'm going to kill it in pre-season. In 1 or 2 games, I'll be playing with them. I have a lot of confidence in myself. I'm going to be at the top with them, now with the faith intact that I can succeed. When you read that, Sam, was you thinking... either one, how long will that confidence last? Will United drag him down, or did you like that answer?
No, I like it. Confidence, man. Like we need players with confidence. We need players who want to fight and think, no, I can be in this team and I can beat out Patrick Dorgu for that spot and keep him on the bench. Like I like that. That's what we need more of. We need more players who go, no, I'm going to come in and take his shirt off him. Like, I'm going to take his spot, and that's the way it should be. Like, that's the way it was under Fergie. Like, every player would go for it in training, and players would be so gutted if they weren't picked in the team. Like, it was the worst news of their life, and that's how it should be. You should be fighting for everything to play in that team the next weekend. And if you don't get picked, you need to work harder the next week to make sure you're in the team. So I like it, man. Like he looks like a fiery player anyway on the pitch, and it seems like his personality matches it as well. So I'm all for it, man. South America again, innit? They're all
always
fucking mental, all of them. They're all mental.
Sometimes mental in a Rojo way, which can be very detrimental to the team at times.
Yeah.
When he's doing crazy shit. And same thing with Romero. I think Christian Romero is an unbelievable centre back, but because he's too fiery at times, he gets himself
got screw loose, hasn't he?
He really has hot-headed and gets himself sent off in stupid situations. So hopefully he's not that side of kind of South American, like a Richarlison side. Hopefully it's kind of limited at a good, like Alessandro Martinez. He was a breath of fresh air when he first came in.
Yeah.
Remember the butcher and the fans singing for him in the crowd, and was like, yeah, this guy can get on board. So if he's anything like that, then great, bring him in. I like what he said there. I like the confidence. I think the type of player that he is as well. I remember reading up about him a few weeks ago. Explosive, athletic, everything that Amrin's going for in his Prem team at the minute: intensity, aggression, fight. I think Karl Anka describes it as shin kickers, right? People like that. We need those kind of players, and I'm well up for that. So I'm excited to see him actually in pre-season.
We need somebody who's like, say a player goes in hard on something, we need somebody who's going to run over and start a fight with him. I'd be like, why the fuck are you tackling my teammate? Like,
Mazraoui did it, didn't he?
I need players. Yeah, that's what I need. I want somebody, because it's so many times I've seen things happen where we go down or a player gets tackled and everybody just sort of looks away and sort of walks off. It's like, where's the fight, man? Like, where's the fucking battle in you? Like, come on, somebody give me something. Like, it's so sad.
Was it Anfield? One of the games, it might have been under Ole, where it kicked off. I think it was only Fred was the only guy who was just having it, basically. He was just like trying to, and no one ran over. There was no captain. Like Maguire kind of stayed back, and there was no fight there. And it was like really, really awkward to see. We need fighters, and that's one of the first things I think that would be on my list when I'm signing players. I'm like, are you a fighter?
I think there was one as well. I can't remember what game it was, but it was Mason Greenwood was getting bullied by certain defenders, and it was Cavani who came over and started trying to like fight them as well to protect him, which, looking back at it, obviously Greenwood's an absolute scumbag, but I like that in Cavani. He's like, I'm going to go protect the younger player, the younger striker, and I'm going to stand up for him. Like, that's how it should be. That's how we should be sort of around as a team. But it just seems like a lot of players are in it for themselves, really, and they don't really care about the other people in the team.
100%. Whilst we're on the conversation of young players, let's just bring this bit in about Sekou Kone. So Lausanne Sport, owned by Ineos Group's trying to secure a loan for Sekou Kone. I'm just curious to know what kind of youngsters do you think are going to push into the first team pre-season, that kind of situation, if players like this are going out on loan? Because I thought he would be someone who would be integrated into the team.
Yeah, it seems like there was all rave reviews, wasn't there, from him in the sort of youth setup. He was scoring fantastic goals. He was getting really good sort of results and stuff. And he was on the bench a couple of times, but he never came off. So I don't know. Maybe Amrin don't think he's ready. Maybe they think he needs a bit more development. I don't know. Obviously, they're in a better position to know than we are. Diego Leon looks like he's confident to come into this team. You'd think Harry Amas and him are going to be the ones competing for that second spot, for the left back spot, and one of them will end up going on loan. We've heard a lot about the Fletcher twins. Again, yet to see what happens with those two. Cheeto, does he go on loan? Does he stay in the youth team? Depending on if we bring in a striker, there's another one there. I think keep Aiden Heaven around. I think he could come in and start and rotate with Alessandro. I think he's fine. Do we loan up Tyler Fredrickson? Is he worth loaning? Because I really, really like the sort of appearances he's had, but is he going to get a lot of game time? So is it better for him to go out?
You think you've got two options at the left-sided centre half. You've got Heaven and Alessandro, you mentioned. You've got DeLitt and Maguire, let's say, as the central options. And then you've got Yoro. And then it's like Lindelof has left. Evans has just retired. So could Fredrickson be the backup? Mazraoui, maybe, yeah. They might even push Dallo back there. Mazraoui is an option. I don't know. And you've got to think as well, we're not in Europe next season. So games will be limited.
Not many games, yeah.
So you might actually see more youngsters going out on loan because of that.
You got Camerson as well, who's played quite a few. He's coming to the team, so he could be on loan. I want to see this Mantato. Like, I want to see him in pre-season. Yeah. I want to see what he's about. I want to see what he's got. Definitely. And if he can sort of make a stake for the claim in that right wing back spot, it saves us a bit of money, doesn't it, in the summer, back going out and trying possible. Because we know we've mentioned there's a midfielder being looked at, a right wing back being looked at. So it could save us some money if he sort of plays a couple of games in pre-season and looks good.
James saying, why does this team want to move Duran on after such a short time? It's a good question. I don't actually know. I don't know if he's fell out or just wants to move. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he just went there for the bag for like a year, 2 years, and was like, yeah, I want to go. Because he only moved last season, didn't he?
Yeah. A lot of players seem to like they go over there and just don't like it. Like I don't know if it's the culture or the whatever it is. Like a lot of players like within 6 months go, yeah, I'm not a fan, and they want out. So yeah.
It's bizarre. Plus, best thing about buying is you can't reject them and still look intelligent. Plus, they can easily cover his wages. Can happily pay 40 million too. Big up Random as well, who's in the chat. Robert Nasia, new month, but the same old stories. Yeah, welcome to Manchester United, mate. Albert Ewer says, what about Mbumo deal? Right, well, because you've asked, this is the latest, as in like the last hour with Mbumo. So Brentford want in excess of £65 million for Mbumo, and United are working on a potential new offer with their most recent one worth 62.5, made up of 55 million plus 7.5 in add-ons, which was not enough for them. You had Brentford's director of football, Phil Giles, come out recently and say 20 Premier League goals last year. We expected lots of interest, and there has been lots of interest. Brian has his own views on what he wants to do with the next part of his career and where he wants to end up, which is fair because it's his career. Those conversations have been ongoing now for a couple of weeks. We've made our point clear that obviously having such a great season, if he earned a massive move now and it was right for us in terms of financially, we'd be open to that. But if he ended up here next season, I wouldn't be massively surprised. It would be welcome. We'd be delighted. It would save me a massive headache, frankly, and that's not off the table as well. So let's see. That's the latest with Brian Mbumo, which you would expect a sporting director, Sam, to come out and save face a little bit and kind of... He's not going to come out and say, yeah, we're probably going to do the deal with United. Like, they want a certain fee, and are they right for asking for that fee?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if I was a Brentford fan, you'd want all the money that you can get, don't you? Like, and then you can reinvest it in the squad, because I know they work on a very small budget. So this would be one of their biggest deals ever, if not their biggest deal ever. I don't know how much did you get for Tony? How much did you get for Tony?
50. So yeah, I think that'd be the biggest deal. You're right. Yeah,
it's the biggest deal ever. So you think that they want a lot of money for him so they can reinvest it in the squad, because 60 million to Brentford is like 200 million to us. Like they can do a lot with 60 million. They can go out and get different players and stuff like that. So yeah, I understand it. Obviously, as a United fan, I want it as cheap as possible and done as quickly as possible. But as a United fan, we're used to them dragging stuff out and then it not happening or overpaying. So yeah, if we walk away from this because they want us to pay unreasonable fees, I'm all right with it. I know a lot of people will get annoyed and dragged it on and stuff like that, but I think at some point we're going to have to walk away from a deal that we want to do, because teams are trying to overcharge us and make us pay through the arse, which we can't do anymore. And I think we're going to have to walk away from a deal at some point. I don't think it'll be this one, but I think in the future it might happen.
We've seen Man City have just done it with Florian Wirtz, haven't they? They was like, no, we're not paying that. They've got a model that they follow, and it's kind of respectable. I am slightly worried about Brentford a little bit, though. I think, obviously, I'm a United fan, but I still think because of the season they've just had, finished mid-table, had a great manager, they've got this really good, promising squad. Manager goes, Norgard going to Arsenal, and Mbumo's going. They've got the set-piece coach now as the manager, I think. Flecken went to Bayer Leverkusen, who was like a big player for them. They've lost loads of players. I think they lost relegated.
They lost Tony a couple of years ago. They lost Raya as well. I think there's a lot of players that are sort of disappearing.
Been picked apart, so I would not be surprised if they're fighting for relegation.
That's what happens, though, isn't it? These sort of clubs, they have a really good season or two, and their best players will get taken away from them. Like, it happens to Brighton every fucking year. It's going to happen to Brentford. It happened to Bayer Leverkusen because the coach left, so they've just all their best players were taken. Frankfurt, their best players are all getting taken. Marmouche, Ekitike, like, it happens to all of them. So that's how these teams operate. Like, they're selling clubs. They'll sell their best players to keep going and keep refunding it. So you just got to hope for Brentford that they can reinvest the money and get some really good players, like unknown players like Mbumo, like Visser, those kind of guys, and keep going. That's what you got to hope, because I think the league is better having Brentford in it than not in it, I would say.
I have to agree as well with the money that they're asking for. Like, you can't, if we've just paid 62 for Cunha, you can't offer less. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know we said 55 plus 7.5, but he's just had 20 goals and 7 assists in a season for Brentford. Like, they're more than entitled to, and he's got more experience in the Prem as well. Similar age range. I think, yeah, to ask for 65 is probably fair. And I think they'll probably get there, but it's just how they get there. I don't know what kind of add-ons they're offering.
In it, in the add-ons and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. I think it's just... have you just seen this bit of news from Fabrizio?
Go for
regarding Jadon Sancho? This was on the Give Me Sport channel, Fabrizio Romano. During talks for Jadon Sancho, Juventus have opened a door for a potential swap deal. United have been informed that Douglas Luiz, Vlahovic, Tim Weir are available. United have not yet responded to the request. Juve have no problem paying Jadon Sancho's transfer fee, but are not willing to pay his full salary.
So how would that work if you're talking a swap deal? How would then the finances work for wages?
So I think that means they wouldn't pay a fee. So the fee that they would
but then they'd be able to pay his wages.
They put that in the wages that go on his wages. I assume that's how it's going to work.
And then I look at the players.
Did you take any of them? Did you take Luiz, Vlahovic, or Weir?
With Douglas Luiz, I don't know. If it was like, if you go back to when he was at Villa and I got offered, I would say yes. But since he's gone to the Italian league, I haven't watched him. So I don't know if he's still maintaining the same level. Also, how old is Douglas Luiz? He's got to be like late 20s now, isn't he? Or pushing it, surely.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
28, 29 maybe?
27 years old. It's not too bad.
Okay.
I did really like him at Villa.
Yeah.
So maybe if it's the only way that you're going to get Sancho out,
to get Sancho gone,
it might be worth it. Especially if you bring in a midfielder like Douglas Luiz, who's played in the Prem before, it could be a good option. Tactically, does he suit Amorim? I'd have to do a bit of digging. With Dusan Vlahovic, that feels like a striker that has just been about for ages and he's just desperate for a move from Juventus. Why has no other club in the past 3-4 years gone, you're the guy, come to me?
No, it's just, I don't rate Vlahovic. I think he's worked okay in the Italian league. I just don't think he's going to work in the Prem.
I think it'd be another Scamacca situation, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to get your thing because I posted it on Instagram. It's probably the worst rumour I've seen since the Donnarumma one. Yeah. So I'm just going to read this out. By the way, guys, I don't believe this for a second. Like, I think this is complete bollocks, but it's from a publication. So I'm going to read it and you guys can sort of speak on it. Manchester United are pushing hard to sign Fabian Ruiz. PSG are counting on him, so a move will have to be convincing from United, but it could be a possibility. That is from Foot Mercato. I do not believe a single word of this. I don't know about you, Nick, but this is bollocks.
Absolute crap. On so many reasons. Well, to be fair, for the same amount of reasons as what the Donnarumma rumour was.
Which one's worse? Donnarumma one or the Fabian Ruiz? Which one is less likely?
I think Fabian Ruiz simply because Donnarumma's contract situation. I think he was looking to sign a new one. He had a year left or something like that. So that's the only kind of small percentage you look at and go, maybe you can offer him something like. But with Fabian Ruiz, he's, in my opinion at least, one of the best midfielders in Europe at the moment. And he's a part of one of the best midfielders in Europe and has just won the Champions League and the league. Why on earth would he go to United? It just wouldn't happen. I can't believe they're allowed to publish that. I can't believe it. It's
like,
it's
so mad.
Fucking, but at least make it slightly believable. Like,
come on, give me something.
Maybe go with the João Neves, who's been linked with him before.
Yeah.
Or just so there's something there. To say Fabian Ruiz is just like, it's crap in it. Let's be honest. But we are every single window we are in, and we've been covering them for a good few years now. There is always some stories that come out, and you just like, you don't need to be sourced. You don't need to look into it at all. You can just look at it at eye level and go, that is bollocks. That would never, ever happen. But people need the clicks, don't they?
Do you remember was it the Neymar one? Was that the one that was a couple of years ago?
Yes.
There was a lot of people picking that up. A lot of people. People going, oh, it could happen. I was like, it's not fucking happening.
No.
There's in not fucking any world is this deal ever going to happen. But that people pick it up and get excited and think it's going to be a real. It's like, we're not signing Fabian Ruiz. It's not happening.
It's almost insulting people's intelligence, really, isn't it? Like, if people are reading that and they're going, oh my God, United Fabian Ruiz, that's so exciting. You're an idiot and you deserve to be hurt when you find out this sort of bollocks. That's my opinion.
Don't get me wrong. I would love him. I think he's one of the best players I've seen in midfield. I would fucking love the guy to come to United, but it's not happening. It's just not happening.
You know what's weird though? I never really noticed him at Napoli. It was only the Euros, I think, when I watched it for Spain.
And this new PSG system. This new PSG system under Enrique. Like,
I watched it for Spain. I thought, that's a player. I think Chivy might have mentioned him whilst he was at Napoli, and he was like, that's a player.
Yeah.
And then, when I saw him for Spain and saw him for PSG more in the Champions League, I was like, yeah, he's a top midfielder. And he scores bangers as well from like...
Yeah.
It's that one against... Was it Arsenal?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's like Vitinha. Like, Vitinha was playing for Wolves like 4 or 5 years ago. Nobody really rated him and he fucked off, and now he's one of the best midfielders on the planet. So it's like, it's weird. Like, sometimes things happen like that.
Right, last few comments just before we head off. James, if you've got any questions or anything you talk about, anything we've missed in the news, bring it up and we'll discuss it whilst we're live. James is saying Brentford remind me of what the team in Ted Lasso was based on. I've never watched Ted Lasso, so I can't. I've been told multiple times to watch it, but I haven't seen it, so sorry, I can't. Douglas is 27. Vlahovic equals Morata Volume 2 without the money laundering transfers. Still better to have a player, although shite, than 2 players that aren't going to kick a ball for us again. Fabian Ruiz, 29, and would not fit our system next to Bruno. Let's just speak about that, actually, very quickly. This midfield situation, there's been plenty of articles written on it, plenty of players mentioned. Yep. Are you worried about that going into next season?
It's a worry. It's definitely a worry. We've not really been linked to any midfielders, have we?
Nope.
Like Edison was early on, but that's died completely. What was the link the other day that I brought in? I can't remember the name of the player now. I'm gonna have to look on our Insta because I did put it up.
Do you remember?
I can't remember. I'm gonna look it up. I'll find it. And that was the only sort of other player that we've actually been linked with in terms of midfielders.
Oh, was it Mecca for Dortmund you're on about?
Yeah, yes.
Felix Mecca.
He's the only one. Oh no, and this guy, sorry, I've got it. There he is. Adon Yashiri from Club Bruges. AC Milan are like in for him, but apparently we spoke to him and stuff like that. So they're the only ones that I've looked at, and the Mecca one just seems like typical rumours of Dortmund players and stuff. And then this one, AC Milan, looks like they're the favourites to get him. So I've just not seen anything linked. So it is a worry, man. Like, because who do we play? Is it Ugarte and Bruno? Is it Bruno and Casemiro? Like, where does Cobby fit? Where does he play? Like, there's a lot of questions, man.
I was looking at the shopping list that the Athletic put out. I don't know if you've read the article for midfielders.
Frank Carl.
Carl and someone else, wasn't it? I can't remember who.
Oh, was it somebody else on it?
Yeah, I think it was like co-written with someone. And some of the names that were mentioned, and I was like, that's interesting. So Elliot Anderson was one of them from Nottingham Forest.
He's good. Okay. I like him.
There's Lamine Camara from the French League. Hayden Hackney, who you've mentioned before from the Championship.
I like him.
Adam Wharton, he's just not feasible. They're not going to pay that kind of money for him. And it was Lucien Aguime, I think, from the Spanish league. I think he plays for. So there's a couple of names there that are like these would suit. Belieber is the one for me. One, just so I can say I'm a believer. I just want to be able to say that.
That chant, we could get that chant going.
That how incredible that be. If they've not got that at Brighton, what are you doing with your spare time? Yeah. Do you think he's the perfect option?
Yeah, he is the ideal midfield. Like, since he's come to, like, he only came in last season, was it? Did they buy him last year?
Well, they replaced him with Casado.
Has he been in for like?
I think.
Yeah, was it 2 years ago then?
I'll check now.
But yeah, ever since he's come in, he has looked like an absolute star. Like, he's looked phenomenal.
He joined from Lille on a 5-year contract.
Yeah.
So 2 years.
Yeah, he's looked amazing, like absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I like him a lot. He's got everything. He's aggressive, great on the ball. He's got a good passing range, strong, young as well. Like, I think he'd be phenomenal. But you're probably looking at a Casido type fee, aren't you, to get him out of Brighton? I'd imagine.
Do you think it's that much? Do you think it'd be 115, or do you think because he's slightly behind?
I think maybe
a bit in his development.
Maybe a little bit less, maybe 80, 90.
Yeah,
maybe around there.
To be honest,
have we got it though?
No, we've not got. We've definitely not got it. But I'm just saying, do you not think it needs that significant investment in that role, rather than buying players here and there?
I think we'd have to sell everybody that we want to sell for a good value.
Mm.
And I don't see that happening. I don't see us getting Anthony, Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho, Højlund, and Onana all out for really good fees. I just don't see it happening. I know we've got a credit facility apparently that we've got 140 million that we can use, but then that puts us back into debt and the cycle continues. And I think Parada wants United to be self-sustaining. So that kind of, it's again, perfect player, but the finances, I don't know how we'd work it really.
Something that was mentioned that was reading, he said, if you look at Arsenal, what they spent on Declan Rice, 100 million. Chelsea spent 115 on Casado. And the difference that they've made to the team, I just think, I think we need that. Someone mentioned...
Yeah, the impact.
James mentions people who wrote Cobby off there. It's going to be a different animal this season. The thing is with Cobby, though, is athleticism. Like, he's not quick enough. And those two roles in Amarin's system, the more I look at it, the more I read into it, and what it demands, you need really athletic players who can cover ground and cover channels and can tackle. And Mainu isn't that kind of player, is he, Sam? Unfortunately.
I think Mainu works in a midfield 3. I think if you put him in a 3, he's perfect in that 8 position if you've got a midfield 3, but we're not playing a midfield 3 now. We're playing with a 2 and 2 inside 10s and a striker. So now I don't know where he plays. Like I don't know where you put him, which is, that's the worry. I hope he's got enough about him that he can sort of tweak his game and become either one of those inside 10s or the 8 or something like that. That'd be really, really great. But yeah, at the minute, I don't know where he fits, which is worrying.
Hackney, Rios, Edison, not including Wharton and Baliba, too expensive. Good value, to be honest. Baliba, 120 mil asking price, easily. I've been looking to consider it for a while. I know what I want to replace. Look at it sold within minutes. He's been working on it. He has. I hope I hope Mainu is successful at Manchester United. I really, really do. All I'm basing it off at the moment is what I've seen from last season, and what I've seen from Amarin so far in the system and what kind of midfield demands he wants. And I don't know. There's huge question marks over him at the moment. But I suppose we'll wait for the start of the season and we'll see what happens with that. We shall leave it at that because we hit the 40-minute mark. Please do turn on your notification bell so you do not miss a thing because we are in the midst of the transfer season. Bottom right-hand corner of my screen, right below this pen here, are all our socials, Instagram, X, and TikTok for any clips, transfer updates in general. Please do check it out and subscribe to the channel. We're 54 subs, just above Sam's head on the left-hand side. 54 subs off 18,000 flat. So if there is anyone new in the chat, please do click that subscribe button. And unless you anything else, Sam, I think we can head off. There's no further news, is there?
No, I'm just refreshing now. It seems like there's nothing else. Yeah. So yeah, we're good.
And just to finish it on a good note, Juventus are close to reaching an agreement with Jonathan David, and we could finally put that to fucking bed about linking him with United. Praise the Lord. Jesus. Right, we'll see you in a bit. Leave a like on the video for us if you can. Legend, all of you. We'll see you in the next one.